Live, and we're up and running, and we are live. Linda Rubin, welcome to Coffee and Conversations with Champions. Because you're so awesome, you get one of these right off the bat. So thank you so much for joining us. It's awesome to be chatting with you.
Morning, Nick. Thanks for having me on the show.
An absolute pleasure. Thank you for making the time. So I know we've got a lot to chat about. You've got an amazing story as well. And I think, your family has a lot of history in powerlifting. I think when I was starting out, or very fresh in powerlifting, we were lifting at Rodney, and I don't know if both of your girls were lifting, but it was a lot of fun. So thank you for the time.
Absolutely.
So can you tell our viewers a little bit, or I suppose, and listeners as well, because we got on the podcast, who is Linda Rubin?
And Nick, I started powerlifting when I was 52. I felt
okay. So last year.
I wish. I'm now 61, had a bit of a gap when I had a meniscus repair. Didn't train for a while, but I needed something for myself. I was a mom, a wife, and I needed some goals for me. And after I did my first competition with Rodney and Carol, the bug bit,
Yay!
It's the most incredible,
100%.
I found the powerlifting community so supportive, and you realize with my journey now, which I'll touch on now, how you become friends, second family, and you're not alone. You're not alone in this. So not only are you lifting and improving your health and your fitness, you have so much support from all different clubs all around the country. It fascinated me when I did my first comp.
It's absolutely phenomenal. And you touched on, you hit the nail on the head, because really it is unbelievable, the support and the love that we get. So a very special community. And I think those days at Rodney's gym with Carol there and everybody training, and Steve, it was a very, very special environment.
Absolutely. I'm very grateful to them. Yes.
100%.
Absolutely.
So tell us about your first comp. We're going to chat about your first comp, what that was like, having competed at some higher level competitions as well. And then we'd like you just to go into your story a little bit. So the first competition, what was that like?
The first comp, as you say, was at Rodney and Carol's gym. And it was, I just got so hooked, and never competitive as a kid, never sporty. So when I got my first medal, I was so proud. And my late husband supported me so much during this journey. He was my biggest fan. So in honor of him, I'm going to continue this. It's a tribute to him to continue the journey.
Sure.
And as you know, I did Commonwealth Games in 2017 in Potch, which was life-changing. By this time, I was with Barbell Bullies, who have been incredible and supported me so much with the loss. And meeting the international competitors, the whole competition was just mind-blowing. It was incredible.
Oh, phenomenal.
That really changed my life.
What was it like stepping onto the podium representing your country? And not having started as a junior or a sub-junior, you're having started as a master.
It was so empowering, incredible. And I have such gratitude for all of it. I really do. Such gratitude.
Awesome. And now, having you back in powerlifting, you've done a couple of recent comps. It was great to see you. We got a notification from your coach to please chat to you, which was wonderful. So tell us a little bit about the training at Bullies and the coach that you're working with, and then what was it like being back on the platform?
Okay. I'm working at Barbell Bullies in Sunninghill with Henk de Wet. Unbelievable support. He never puts me under major pressure, and he's taught me to actually just go through this healing process slowly, and to use powerlifting to ground me and to support me. And it's been honestly phenomenal. The first comp I saw you at was the bench press in Edenvale,
Yep.
the classic bench
I
press,
got to bench with
where,
the girls. It was so cool.
yes, where it was my mission to break a record for Alan, my late husband,
Mm,
because he would have been so proud.
yeah,
And I got my SA record there, which
sure.
was the most emotional but incredibly happy and rewarding feeling.
I have to give you one of these again, obviously. Just very, very special. And sure. Phenomenal, phenomenal,
And
phenomenal. Yep.
and Nick, that competition taught me that I can channel my pain physically through the lifting, which Henk has assisted
Mm,
me
mm.
with. I'm using it to channel, which has really, really helped me.
Can we chat a little bit about that? If you can just let our viewers and listeners know what happened. Tell us a little bit about Alan and your lifting and what was it like coming back onto the platform and how it assisted you. Because I was at the back
Um,
with you at that comp and it was very emotional. You
yeah,
weren't the
very
only one
emotional.
crying. It's very hard for referees to judge with tears in their eyes.
Yeah, you know, a lot of the refs have known my family for many years. As you
Yeah,
said, Romy was involved in powerlifting. So it was a very, very, very emotional day.
yeah.
Sorry, go back to your question.
So
Sorry,
just,
Nick.
I think if you can tell us a little bit about your story and the journey now and being back
Okay.
in powerlifting.
Okay. Um, uh, my journey begins with Alan being very ill 10 years ago.
Mm.
Um, and only now do I
No,
realize
sorry,
now that he's passed.
and sorry to interrupt. Sorry, when I say from the beginning, how did you guys meet? What was that like? Tell us about the first date. We want to hear a little bit about your history together.
Okay. Um, the funniest thing is my father was a motor dealer. He
Hmm.
was with Alfa Romeo many
Ah,
years ago.
tutto bene.
And
Yeah.
and Alan went to purchase a car from him. And he had such attitude and pushed so much for a better price that he offered him a job and then
Wow.
brought him home one day, and
Yep.
the rest is history.
Oh, phenomenal.
41 years together, Nick.
Sure. That is
Yeah,
that's a proper
41.
blessing.
But
Unbelievable.
he's totally, I'm so
Mm,
grateful for it. But he really supported me in my lifting journey. He was there at every competition. As sick as he was, he sat
mm,
there with his little oxygen and he
yeah,
always supported me, which was incredible.
absolutely. So tell us about, obviously, I mean, the heartbreak of the loss and dealing with someone that you love that's not well, and now coming back to lifting.
I must say, through the years when Alan was ill on and off, because it was a
Mm,
10-year journey, the lifting helped me a lot. You know, if I was spending a lot of time at the hospital, there was nothing better than going and training for an hour, letting go of, obviously, there was a bit of anger because I felt
hmm.
like it's unfair how he's suffering. So it
Yeah,
assisted me so much, it grounded me. I feel almost like physically and mentally it grounds you. You've got your 2 feet on the ground, and it just has been an incredible experience.
yep,
And Alan
absolutely.
unfortunately
Mm,
had very, very low oxygen levels and got a very bad infection now in February and passed away, which was really traumatic. But the bench press competition gave me such focus, helped me to concentrate on that and to honor him and to do a tribute to him. And I'm going to continue to do that. And
good.
my dream is to compete at Worlds because I know Alan would be proud.
That is going to be phenomenal. Now, we're talking about Worlds in Cape Town now, at Masters or at the World at Open? Because I mean, how big are you prepared to go? Because we know you are an absolute powerhouse.
I unfortunately didn't qualify for Cape Town.
Okay,
So I
yet,
need to focus. I need to work very hard for the next 2 years
right?
and focus on the competition that I'll be ready for.
Okay, 100%. With
Yeah.
that, I you know what I think, and to be perfectly frank, because I think I can speak to this. I was there at bench with you, and when you broke those records, and with the other the other guys in our community, um, that is a bigger victory than making it to Worlds in Cape Town this year.
Mm.
You know, it's just absolutely phenomenal, and we're also incredibly proud of you. What I wanted to
Oh,
ask
thank
you,
you.
no, 100%. What I wanted to ask you was, when you made the decision to compete and you started moving towards the competition, how did that help your healing process once you had made that decision and those early training sessions?
The early training sessions were tough because I was very hard on myself.
Mm,
I still am, and I'm learning to actually just do the best I can and to show up. I think the biggest thing is to be consistent
mm-hmm.
and to show up. Now with the loss, I've lost 10 kgs, so obviously I'm a little bit weak as well because I've obviously lost muscle, didn't focus properly on the eating. But it was just to show up for me,
Right.
gave me such strength, and I felt such power and control. I felt in control because I
Sure.
couldn't control anything with Alan, and that's the one thing I could control: showing up and training.
And it's showing up for yourself and something to control that's very positive for you. There's no negativity in arriving at Barbell Bullies for a training session and hanging out at that community with the amazing coaches, with the amazing group of people that train there. And I think it's so important for you, and I think it's a very valuable lesson to share, because when we are dealing with people who are not well, that are loved ones that are sick, and I had it with my dad for a much, much shorter period of time, only about 34 days when he was in ICU.
Wow.
And you do feel powerless. But one of the things that I learned in recovery and being sober, the serenity prayer, God give us the courage, the serenity, and now I've gone and forgotten it because we're live on air. But anyway, to control the things that we can, the wisdom, and and the
Wisdom to let go of the
go
things we
things we
can't.
can't. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. Then that's to know the difference. So, that's so important. 18 years of sober. That's why I can say I forgot it, because I
Wow.
learned it 2 decades ago. Um, but having the things,
Sure.
the understanding that there's very little that we can control. And I think for us, we would far rather have given up control in the gym for being able to control what our loved ones were going through. But the reality is we can't. So that control for yourself in the gym, going to lift, going to train, following a program, how important was that? How foundational was that in your healing process?
Firstly, well done, Nick. I wasn't aware of
Oh
that.
yeah, thank you.
Incredible, because you also give your life to lifting, and you play such an important role in the powerlifting with the incredible pictures, the podcasts.
Oh, thank you.
Well done.
I love it.
I salute you.
Thank you. Keeps me out of trouble. So,
Absolutely,
yeah.
absolutely. I honestly feel if not for the lifting, I don't know where I'd be today. I
Mm,
honestly don't know how I would have got through it. And to give you an example, at Barbell Bullies, coach Laura,
hmm.
and the one day I messaged her and I said, I can't come today. I can't stop crying. I can't get out of bed. And she said to me, that's the beauty. You need to show up. And if you sit here on a bench and you cry, we're here
Yeah,
for you. If you do one lift, we all here. Just show up and continue to push through,
sure.
which was,
Absolutely
yeah,
love that.
which was very powerful.
I think
Just
it.
to, yeah,
Sorry. Carry on. Oh,
just to
mm,
show up.
mm. Showing up is the hardest part of just it just being there, getting to the gym, because it's an environment that you are surrounded by support and understanding. And I think that as big and burly as many powerlifters look, I think we are very sensitive, and we have a sensitivity to one another. And I think what makes the sport so special is everybody has a story, and it's
Mhm.
vital. And I wanted to just get your view on talking to people that may be going through what you were going through. I think particularly for a spouse where their partner is sick, that they're not well, and there's a lot of stress and pressure, and it takes it out of you big time. I wanted to get your thoughts on that with training and finding something to do. But before we do, and I love the story of Laura calling you and chatting to you. How valuable has it been being at Bullies with both Henk and Laura, where it's the two, you're getting the two energies? I mean, Henk is a very sensitive and gentle guy, but having Laura as well, that, you know, a woman to woman and a man to a type of understanding on the coaching side.
They've honestly been like a second family to me.
Mm,
And, you know, I got to a stage where I felt almost uneasy when I cried in front of people. And I just feel so comfortable. I trained yesterday and I
mm,
had a sob session afterwards with Henk and Laura. And I just left there feeling so good. Did my training, had my sob session, and carried on with the day. And
sure.
I'd love to challenge people, not only that have gone
Mm,
through loss, grannies, 61-year
mm.
olds. My biggest thing is to make
Bobbers.
my grandchildren proud. There's a competition coming up at Barbell Bullies in
Mm-hmm.
August. And my biggest dream is to have the 4 grandchildren there, because normally Potch is a bit of a distance. They're
Mm.
smaller, they're younger, difficult for the moms to bring them. So I just want to make my grandchildren proud.
That is absolutely phenomenal, and we have to give you a bunch of hearts for that, because that is awesome. It just, I think, as a, you know, we always want to be, as parents, role models, but I think it's
Mm,
so empowering for grandparents to want to be role models as well, and particularly in sport. And again, that's what I love about the sport, that you can compete at any age. It's not just for the sub
exactly.
juniors, the juniors and the opens. I mean, look at Dan, he's 127 and he's still competing.
Dan is so inspiring. But I find all
Mm,
lifters from all
mm,
ages so inspiring to
yep,
sit there and watch. I mean, if I'm not mistaken, you had a shoulder injury,
yep.
but you did your bench competition. I find that so inspiring, because as a kid, funny you hit on that point.
Mm,
I was never taught to go to gym every day. And I
right.
think it's the best gift you can give a child. Firstly, if they're
100%.
involved in sport and
Mm.
training, they will stay away from all the wrong stuff.
Yep.
It's such a thing for me to pass it on to, well, my children do train, and now
Hmm.
to pass on to my grandchildren.
Yeah. But your one daughter was a bit crazy with the Olympic lifting. So let's just stick with powerlifting, please. It's safe and it's, we don't have to put weights overhead. Um, what's it been like for you having your grandkids there?
Unfortunately, they've never actually
Mm.
been at a competition,
Okay. Right.
but they've watched.
Mm.
Thanks to you, they've watched online, and my
We can
children
do
tell
this.
me they stand there and they shout for me and they cheer. So cannot wait for them to come on the 23rd of August to be at the comp, and just the atmosphere, the excitement, and to hear them cheering.
Oh, it is going to be phenomenal. We've seen Dan's grandson at one or two, I think at the Bullies Comp as well. And it was just the joy that he was getting and the family was getting. So, are you looking at getting your grandkids involved in lifting as soon as possible?
Definitely, definitely. My oldest granddaughter is now 7. Did a fun comp at Barbell Bullies. She was a little bit overwhelmed,
Mm,
so I want to actually let her start once a week, just training.
hmm.
I don't believe the philosophy that it's bad for their growth. I
Not at
don't.
all.
I'm not a medical doctor,
Mm,
but I personally believe mentally and physically it will be the best thing for her.
absolutely. And, just to touch on that, it's the myth, from my understanding, came about when the guys who were typically strong and lifting weights were the shorter guys, because they started lifting weights because of bullying. and
Mhm.
feeling that they didn't have power or strength or couldn't protect themselves. So from that, it came, oh, all the strong guys are short. If we go back and look at even the strong men from the turn of the last century, like Eugene Sandow, none of these guys were very, very tall. There were a few tall, so that's where that idea came from. And it was great chatting to Rodney Anthony about this, because he always had to discuss it with the parents of the kids at St. Cynthians, and the risk of jumping, because what you're talking about is the damage of growth plates. So they believe that
Yes.
lifting weight damages your growth plates and you won't grow. When you lift weights as a kid, you may be lifting a third, a fifth, a tenth of your body weight for a maximum of 35 to 50 to, let's say, a minute. A maximum of a minute in a training session under load. 1 minute. So it's very minimal. If you jump off a meter or even half a meter as a kid, you're landing with 2 to 3 times body weight impact
Mhm.
on your growth plates. And it's those impacts in rugby and in certain other sports, that can cause damage to the growth plates, but not training. What training does, improves bone density and improves vascular flow, and also teaches the kids to get off the couch, get away from the computer games, eat better, because that's what you want. Once you get bitten, as you said, Linda, by that competition bug, it's something you want to stick with forever. I mean, I remember Majan de Vet lifting as a guest lifter as a kid, and now look at her.
Tiny.
Yeah, absolute champion in South Africa and in the world. So that, yeah, I get quite passionate about that, because it's far healthier for a child to be in a gym lifting weights safely and appropriately than it is to be on a couch eating junk food and in front of a computer or a TV.
I also feel very strongly about
Yeah.
that. And to touch on that
Mm,
point, Nick, when I had my meniscus repair, my
mm,
knees never healed properly. And I've been told that I need a knee replacement, and I'm not to powerlift any longer. But I push through it. I wear
mm-hmm,
a knee sleeve,
mm.
and I'm not prepared to actually stop training. And I have such a passion as you do for the lifting. I find it so rewarding
Yes.
that I'm not prepared to give that up. And I haven't had a knee replacement,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm walking and I'm training, and I'm never felt better at age 61.
Phenomenal. And I think it's about, and with all due respect to the medical fraternity, it possibly, and this is not medical advice, possibly about finding a medical professional who understands the athlete mindset. And when I say that, that's, for example, why I love working with Dr. Simon Lawson, my chiro, because he knows athletes are athletes. He knows that if he says, you can't do this, we'll just not come back and do what we need to do with the training and
Exactly.
get more hurt. So you need to find a physician who says, okay, look, you're going to train. This is what you're going to do. This is what you need to alter in your diet. This is maybe, okay, cool. But then you need to commit to rest and recovery. You need 2 more hours sleep a night or whatever. Can you do that? And then understand that in 6 to 10 years, we're going to have to look at a knee replacement. But for these 10 years, you can lift, because there's no point in not lifting and eroding your mental health and eroding your quality of life. It's a balance between quality of life, mobility, mental health, strength, and it's weighing up as much as we can to get the most out of life, not eliminating something that's so valuable to us.
I'm happy you touched on chiro,
Mm,
because I also have an incredible chiro, Jaden Mays.
yeah.
And recently I fell down a set of stairs,
Oi.
and I arrived there with my crutches sobbing. And I
Mm,
said to him, Jaden, I can't go back here. And 2 to 3 sessions, unbelievable.
yep, absolutely.
Back training, strong. But I think a huge role as well is Henk helps me a lot with
Mm.
rehab, strengthening the muscles around the knee, and I think that plays a huge role as well.
What 100%. When you have a coach that knows what they're doing. And this is the thing that maybe, I don't want to say physicians need to understand. It's a very arrogant statement from my side, but I hope that they realize that strength is neural. So if you bench
Mm,
press with your feet
mm.
off the ground, your knee is going to get stronger because you strengthen your nervous system. It affects the whole body. For me, that's what with my shoulder. But the other stuff that I do, so I do farmers carries, and I love just lifting and holding kettlebells, and that helps strengthen everything. I started doing plank, bloody planks, excuse
Oh my
my
God.
language, and nothing's helped my shoulders more than actually planks. Like I just
Wow.
realized it. And all of these things that we need to do rather than not training. By the way, with Jaden, I think he's in the Guinness Book of World Records for the world's tightest shirts.
I'm going to tell him he must listen to this podcast.
We love
But
Jaden. He rocks.
another
Yeah. Yeah.
another point is he's very sporty, so he
Yes.
understands so
Correct.
much more. He
Mhm.
understands you're not going to stop lifting. He understands the body.
Yep. We got invited last year to live stream Algeria and the Africa Champs in Algeria, or the year before last, sorry. And, in discussion as to why we were asked, because they said, well, you're powerlifters, right? So you understand the sport. You know where to set the cameras, you know where to change the angles. And you need a chiropractor that's sporty as well, because he understands the mindset and how invaluable saying no to an athlete is.
Exactly.
100%.
Exactly. We don't listen.
We do not listen. So to go back to the thing, and again, 61 is not old. It's really, really, it's just getting started. I'm a big fan of Gary Vaynerchuk, and he's a social media expert and multi-business entrepreneur. And what he says, he's talking to guys in their 50s or 60s. He says, what are you worrying about, even retirement? He says, you've got 30 years left, 40 years in which to work and build a business. You can start a business, you can start a career, you can start a sport at 55 or at 60 or at 70. We're very fortunate to be living in this time. And that's not old. So what I want to chat to you about is, what's the future? What are the hopes and dreams?
Okay, my dream is, as I said earlier,
Mm.
to qualify for a Worlds.
Yeah, no, no,
So
yes,
that's going to
okay,
be
yep.
my
Just to
for the next
qualify?
few years, and to compete
Yeah,
in
no, and
Worlds.
to podium.
Yes, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for adding that. That's very
100%.
important.
Yep, absolutely.
So that is my absolute dream, and I think I'll be honoring Alan by doing that. And as you say, interesting that you say you can start a business at 50, 60,
Mm.
70. I always refer to it as, hopefully, please God, I've got another 20 summers left.
My
It's
my money's on 53 at a minimum. Wishing you 120 years, Linda. Yeah.
Oh gosh.
No, I mean, just look at Dan as an example, right? I mean, that's
No,
20, what's it, 24 years? You
he
know?
is phenomenal. I
Yeah.
find him so
Mm.
inspiring, and he never misses a day.
Yep.
Never misses a day.
And Dan, I'm telling you now, he believes he's got 30 years, 40 years of lifting ahead of him.
Yeah,
And if he
yeah,
carries on doing it, he's
yes.
going to. So when I say 110 and 120, I'm not joking. I know that we'll be chatting in another 20 or 30 years about competing. And we'll be going, can you believe Dan set the record for the Master 11 division at 120? So,
I
yeah.
must admit, I'm loving the Masters divisions,
Yep.
really enjoying it.
It what
Mm.
where I think we are so blessed, and I I think for juniors and sub juniors, or particularly in juniors, there's a bit of fear moving into the open because of now
Mm.
it's everybody, and then maybe for some of the open lifters when they start moving into masters, it's a bit like, oh, but every single division, every 10 years, you get a chance to set new records. You get a chance to compete against new people. And it's the most wonderful thing.
Exactly.
It's like a gift every 10 years. where it's almost like a new opportunity, which is absolutely wonderful. Masters are fun, huh?
Absolutely.
And we're the
Oh, I
coolest
love
bunch
it.
of
And it's
guys.
the opportunity.
Yeah. Mm,
Sorry to interrupt. It's
no.
the opportunity to better yourself and to better your PBs. And,
Yes.
it's, yeah.
Absolutely. And to see
Yeah.
such inspiring people stepping up for the first time and competing, it's a
Absolutely.
truly, truly wonderful thing. So I know for you, we are going to see you on the podium at a Worlds and at a
Thank
Commonwealth.
you.
You like the cold. Commonwealth is in Canada next year, just saying. And
Would love to visit Canada.
Yep, absolutely. It would be spectacular. That's on the cards for me, as a trip that I got to do. I'm really I've got to go
Oh,
to
great.
Canada.
Hopefully you'll be
Yeah.
there competing and taking photographs.
Well,
I
yeah,
look forward to
yeah.
that.
I want to go and announce and take some photos and have a lot
Love
of
that.
fun with it. It'll be an absolute blast. Maybe we can even stream it. You never know. It'll be a fun opportunity. So, Lynn, I've got a standard set of questions that I love to ask my guests. Two are fun. One is a little bit more serious, and then the fourth one is a super bit of fun. So the first fun one: what do you love about powerlifting? It doesn't have to be anything serious, or it can be. That's up to you.
I think for me, it's the socializing
Mm.
and then achieving at the same time.
Sure. I love that because it's so well put because it's like 5 reps and huck for 10 minutes or 5 minutes or
Yeah,
3 minutes,
yes, yes.
and then you still have the opportunity, and then we in the queue for the weigh-in, so we're chatting, and then you're in the warm-up area and you're chatting, and then you're in the holding area and you're chatting, and then you're waiting for the medal ceremony and you're chatting, and then you're on the platform waiting for participation medals and you're chatting. It's the most wonderful sport,
Exactly.
and that excludes the chatting in the gym when you're training.
Exactly.
And you still have
And
the
as you say, you learn so much
yeah.
about others
Yes.
like, during that time.
Absolutely. It's a very special thing. You get to hear amazing stories. I cannot tell
Yes.
you how special it was for me to have the opportunity to lift at SA Bench with the girls. It was really special. We had to run off to do a live stream of a book launch, and the guys kindly allowed me to lift. But to be coming out before Olivia because she's lifting more than me, it was epic. And then just to hang out with you guys at the back there, it was so much fun.
Yeah,
It was very special. I'm going to see if I can do that next year as well. It'll be an absolute blast. So,
I love that.
and then
Love that.
getting the medals with you guys as well. It was a lot of fun. An absolute blast. All right. And again, so not so serious. What drives you mad about powerlifting?
When you have to make weight.
When you have to make weight.
Yes.
I'm
The
with you.
days before the build up, the
Yep.
morning when you're driving to the competition and you're stressing, am I going to make weight?
Yep, absolutely. I'm with you 100%. And then you have to go, you're saying, okay, can I get a room at the Elgro with a bath because the shower, and then you got to have
Yes.
the hot bath, you got to cut weight. And then, sure, you're looking at hotels. I remember a couple of years ago, Calm had to cut weight. And I was, in a loving, kind, gentle way, having a good laugh at her because she was sitting there with the blankets trying to sweat it out, hot bath with the baby. I think Meg was helping her, and I was having a laugh. And then the next year, I had to cut weight, and we were at the city lodge in the hot, steaming, boiling hot shower under the blankets.
Shower.
It was not fun. So I made the decision to go immediately from the 93s to the 105s, and now I'm looking at the 120s. So
Okay.
it's a lot of fun. I love that one. So then a slightly more serious question. What has powerlifting given you?
Confidence, incredible confidence, which was a problem for me. And it's so sad how so late in life it assisted me with, but I'm so grateful for it. It's given me such confidence.
Sure. That is, I mean, what a wonderful gift to give yourself, right?
Exactly.
Absolutely
Exactly.
phenomenal. Now, a little bit on a light-hearted note, I got inspired by the Ice Bucket Challenge of a few years ago where you'd have to nominate someone. So who would you like to nominate to come on the podcast to chat to us?
Um, I don't know if you're able to because of the time difference, but I have a cousin who has a young son who lives in Australia,
Not a
and we had
problem.
an incredible chat this
Mm,
morning.
yes.
I'd love it if he could be on I think it would be very, very interesting.
We would love that as well. Australia, we do Australia, we do Canada,
Oh,
BVI, all
wow.
over the
Okay.
world. So especially with the Canadians, their Sunday morning is our Sunday afternoon. I think if I yeah, so it's not a huge problem at all.
Okay, so I'm going to
Australia, we
put
can
that
get in.
together.
Yeah, fab. Their afternoon is our morning on a Sunday, so that works really well. So not this Sunday, but
Okay.
next Sunday, if they're wanting to chat, something that we would absolutely love to be able to do. Be
Fantastic,
phenomenal.
fantastic.
Brilliant. And then we'll just organize that on WhatsApp as well. If you have his
Great.
Instagram handle, we'll go and follow him on Instagram, because I was chatting to the Canadian
Fabulous.
coach for the bench press team last night, just about how big an
Hmm.
influence social media and Instagram in particular has had on lifting. It's unbelievable on the lifting. Yeah.
Definitely, definitely. And I think specifically with the younger lifters, it's a
Absolutely.
huge
Huge.
positive
Yeah.
influence for them.
It's massive, and what I love about it is that they have the opportunity to chat to anyone and message anyone. You can message your hero in the sport, and then the next
Mhm.
step on that is getting to share a podium with your hero, and I think that is so
Wow.
valuable for these young athletes.
Yes.
It's a wonderful thing. And I think with your granddaughter, getting her involved, the age of 7, those are the kids who grew up during the very challenging times of the pandemic. And it was, limited social interaction. There's social anxiety nowadays. And because of the factor of lifting, where it's do your lift and then be around the guys and chat and socialize. It's a very healthy environment to learn how to be social, to learn how to socialize. Once you're good with that, then we drop you into a competition, put you on the platform in a singlet, which is the most yeah,
Unattractive.
challenging, yes, challenging outfit in the world ever. SBD, I hope you're listening. Can we get some frills, please? No. So,
You hit on a good point, the COVID. Good
yeah.
point.
So I just think, for grandparents, it's so vital, and getting their grandkids involved. I mean, who would have thought that there would be a sport, or that there is a sport where you can have a grandparent and a grandchild representing their country at the same time? Imagine going to Worlds with your granddaughter in a few years.
Oh my gosh. That's my new dream, Nick. Thank you.
Well, we have to give
That's
you
my
one of
new
these.
dream.
Absolutely. Big hearts. So Linda, it's been absolutely wonderful chatting to you. Is there anything you'd like to mention just before we start wrapping up?
I just want to thank you for brightening our sport, lightening its beautiful pictures, just pushing and getting the sport out there.
Thank you.
It's very grateful for the role you play.
Yeah, I may have mentioned this once or twice on the podcast. Yumi, a young lifter from Canada, actually asked me on Sunday, why do I do this, and why am I so passionate about the sport and putting on the podcasts and all of this stuff? And for me, it was very simple. When I got called into a meeting by my CEO and MD, I was working at a company called Hereford, and Michael Dundalakis and Glenn Norkier called me in, my bosses, and they said to me, do I have a drinking problem? Because I was 50 kilos heavier. I was drinking 20 drafts a day. And that,
Whoa.
yeah, I was not in good shape. I mean, I stank like the back of a bottle store bar fridge. And it was the silliest question, but they had to ask me. And I said, I
Yeah.
do have a problem. They said, do you want help? And I said, please. That was the Thursday. Friday, I went to go and see Dan Wolf from Houghton House. He said, after our 1 hour meeting, the best words of my life ever, Nick, you're an alcoholic. You start the program on Monday. I was like, yes, I'm an alcoholic. Thank God. Because now I knew there was a direction. And Monday, I go to the meeting, and it was from 4 to 7. It was outpatient. And I came home at 7 p.m. I got home about 20 past 7. And that's usually when I'd be going to the bar, be going to the pub, right? I would have been in the pub. So I had this massive void and this emptiness that I didn't know what to do. I had no money left. I spent, this is how long ago it was. It was 15,000 Rand for a 3-month outpatient program. And I'd spent the last bit of my money
Wow.
on my credit card. So there was no money to socialize or go out. And I didn't even know how to socialize or where to go. And I turned on the TV, and there was a documentary on Charles Atlas. And Charles Atlas was the guy in the back of the comic books with the "Hey, you kick sand in my face," and the dynamic tension, where he would teach you how to use one muscle against another when you didn't have weights. And he developed that system. And I thought, okay, let me start doing a little bit of training. I tried that. I did one push up. That's all I could manage. But it gave me something to do. I pulled out all of my old men's
Yes.
health magazines and started to go through them. And the exercise and the training helped me fill that bottomless cavern that was in my head and in my heart, because I didn't know how to be sober yet. I didn't have the skills, and I didn't have my coping mechanism, my drinking. So I was in a very difficult place. And exercise and the training helped me through that and got me through that. And my passion for that, my gratitude for that, is why I do this, because powerlifting is a sport that will give you a community, it will give you a purpose, it will give you goals, and it will give you a way to, on a linear progression, fall in love with yourself. Yeah,
It's
and
so
love it.
inspiring.
Yeah, and
Fantastic. And it's so true.
that's why I do this, because everybody, Linda, everybody deserves to be a power lifter.
Agreed.
Yeah,
Agreed.
that's the
Yeah, and
bottom
I want to
line.
challenge
Yeah.
the grannies out there to
Yes.
start powerlifting.
Okay. Grannies, this is a call.
There's
Yeah.
lifting gyms in all areas. There's no excuse.
Yeah, 100%. Absolutely. They can message us, their if you know, here's a call to the kids and the grandkids. If you want to get your grandparents lifting, let them get in touch, direct message us, and we'll put you guys in touch with a gym that's in the area. Wherever you are in the world, I'm sure you can find a powerlifting gym or a powerlifting community. Very cool. Now, we're
Yes.
fortunate,
Yes.
we speak to people in Italy, in Canada, in Australia, in the US, in the UK, Scotland, Ireland, Wales, Great England. I can never get that UK thing right in my head. But anyway, there's gyms all over the place. So I love that. Grannies, get out there and start lifting. I think
What a blessing for
yeah.
you to be able to speak to so many different people.
How wonderful is technology? I mean, isn't this
I
amazing?
know.
And this is
I
one of the
know.
things we got out of that pandemic, was the fact that everybody's now understands how to be online and how to do a call like this. And that's why we
True
use this
story.
format. Yeah. So, oh,
Even though I battled in the beginning, but you got it
we
right.
got it. We got it. You got it on your second attempt. 3 white lights. So, Linda,
I love that.
from me to you, I wish you lightweights and white lights and gold medals. That's my wish for you going
Thank you
forward.
so much.
So,
Oh, wow. Thank you, Nick. And it was incredible talking to you. And you inspire me, as do a lot of lifters. And
awesome.
keep on doing the great work.
No, we love it. It's too much fun. I can't, this is very simple. I worked for 8 hours a day, and I was in the pub for 8 hours a day. So I try to explain to people. So this is a very healthy way for me to fill my time. So at the gym in the morning, here in the afternoons, doing this on weekends, it's an absolute blast. So thank you. But Linda, you
Fantastic.
are a big
Well done.
inspiration, because not, sorry to interrupt, but not only the weights that you lift, but the beautiful, wonderful, warm, loving, kind energy that you bring not only to the platform, but to the competition and to our sport.
Well, thank you. That's beautiful. Thank you, Nick.
True story. Now go and
Fantastic.
yeah, and will you give Henk a big kiss for me, just to annoy him, please?
I will.
Okay,
Definitely.
cool. Awesome.
And you take care.
Thank you. You too. Thank you so much.
Thanks for the chat.
It was lovely. Thank
Okay,
you. Take
bye.
care. Bye bye.
You too.
Bye.
Bye.
That was seriously special. Wonderful opportunity to chat with Linda Rubin. Let me just switch cameras here. There we go. Guys, thank you for joining us. And we've got Nicole Cooper-Sammy from the Western Cape on tomorrow at 5. And I think if you bear with me, we've got a few more coming up. I'm chatting with Quinton Grobela, powerlifter, later today. Either we're going to come live on air, but I think we're just going to have a quick chat and then book a time for him. And it is Wednesday. Why didn't you guys tell me? 5 o'clock, chatting to Nicole Cooper-Sammy. And then next, tomorrow, we've got Stefan Ferreira, the South Africa strongman athlete, powerlifter, strongman, all of the strength sports. Can't wait for that. And then at 7 p.m., we're chatting to the team at Badger Athletic, a South African based strength gym. Give us a direct message if you have a gym and you'd like us to chat to you, if you're a coach and you'd like us to chat to you, or if you're an athlete. We'd love to have you on the show. Thank you for watching, guys. I was going to say thank you for watching, guys. You've been watching. There we go. Okay. You've been watching Coffee and Conversations with Champions, chatting to the wonderful Linda Rubin, a true inspiration for Emet Media and from the Emet Media studio in Johannesburg. My name is Nicholas Single. We do this because we love you guys. Oos. What?